Okay, here goes the sound check. I've got a spark plug out so the motor can just roll. I'm gonna let you hear this sound. That's a bell. Sounds like a ping inside the motor. Not really a ping, but a clang, or yeah, a clang. That sounds more like it. I'm gonna pedal down the road and go down the hill, drop the clutch, put the phone by the motor, and let you hear the sound coming out of this hole. Got a ring to it. It's just this ping thing going on here, and it's about to drive me crazy. And I believe I know what I did, where I messed up. I'm out in the wind here, so I'm gonna get back in the garage. Hold on a second. So I'm sitting here in my lair, considering what I've done, and understanding humility. But the problem originated with a painted motor. It looked really good on the internet. It's painted. Yeah, well, I like that red. It matches the rest of my bike. Yeah. Well, I get it. I get the thing, and it's also the piston's been painted. I got paint in the piston. Okay? I got paint in the piston on the piston, so I dig out the ring. Actually, this is the first time I've ever been in a motor. Of all my extensive bicycle builds, all 5 of them, I have never really had the guts to get into the motor. Now I've rebuilt 7.3 IDIs, 350, 4 bangers, all these different things, but it come to this, and it's just one of those fear of the unknown things, you know, that I've never really got into it to check port matches, the port, did any port matching or anything like that. But where I messed up is when I started pulling this ring off of this piston. I just didn't soak it and loosen up the paint. I broke a piston ring. And so I'm like, well, that's not cool. And so I went back to my buddy's motor that had a chain lock up, and it put a hole in the case. Well, it was just barely broke in, man. That motor hadn't ran maybe a month or 2. And so I decided, well, I'm going to use those rings. They shown a little bit of surface wear on the cylinder side, and I'm like, man, that's got to be okay. There shouldn't be no problem with that, right? So I put those rings on there. Well, another thing that I did, I didn't really pay attention to the orientation of the little clip that holds the pin in there for the piston, and I may have messed up there too. So now I got this bike all built, and this has been a hell bike. I've been through so much BS on this bike from the bike itself, and then this motor. Now I got to figure out, okay, do I change the bucket and the piston and the ring out altogether, or do I take a pair of rings that comes off a piston that I won off a contest over there at Build Break Fix, or do I just put that whole setup on top of this? Because that ring isn't good. I ran this thing yesterday. I ran it all day long. Well, not really all day long, but I rode it around. I probably used a tenth of a tank. So now I got to go back all over this stuff. Once I get this figured out and this fixed where I don't got all this noise, then I'll give you a walkthrough on this bike, because there's a lot of things that I learned on this bike that y'all need to know. I mean, from the very get-go. Like, don't buy a motor that's painted, because you don't know what they did. You don't know if they sprayed paint up in there. Well, unless you look. I mean, when you look, but you don't know that till you get it. Another thing is 32 spoke. No. You're just gonna require some more stuff. But anyway, I'll give a follow-up on this bike, but I just had to admit that I messed up. And I could have destroyed this. I don't think it's destroyed, but it's definitely showing that I did not do right. So don't shortcut nothing. Don't get smart. Don't get too frugal on the stuff, man, because it will show in the end. Okay. Well, anyway, I'll put that video up there in front so you can hear what's going on. Maybe you can tell me, maybe it's something else. Please tell me it's something else. But I got to take all that apart, tear up gaskets, all this kind of stuff. Anyway, yep, that's a learning lesson of bike building.